Radio Free Skaro!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Radio Free Skaro, episode number 812. I am Stephen in Edmonton.
Morning, Vancouver.
And Chris in Edmonton.
I had to look at what number it was. I almost said 300 and something, and I don't know why I did that.
Welcome to 2013.
Welcome to...
The water's fine. Dip your toes in.
Yeah.
There's no COVID.
I would love to go back to 2013. It'd be great.
What a time.
Looking forward to Day of the Doctor and all that, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Who knows what they'll do? I'm really worried. I've heard there's no classic Doctors, and I'm very angry. Preemptive.
Yeah. We haven't had any missing episodes since 2013, so...
Well, I mean, there's all the stuff that, Paul Vanessa said Al have said exists.
As heard on Radio Free Skaro.
Much eyebrow
Hashtag.
waggling has occurred.
Yeah, I'm watermarking that audio clip that you just said right there, Chris, and that he said that on this very show. Said it. Mark my words, there are fewer than 97 episodes missing. Somewhere out there.
I was as was texted out to you guys yesterday. I was going through the new Web of Fear DVD content. Don't ask. And there's the thing from Lost in Time, some the Lost Years or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I think that actually originally came out on the Ice Warriors VHS. Now that I think about it.
It could be. It was Debbie Watling was doing the presenting, so it would make sense to be tie it in with a Deborah Watling episode. Anyway, I was skimming through it, and there's the clip with Ian Levine. There will never be fewer than 110 missing episodes.
Well, we all go to him for all our facts. So.
Yeah, that's true. Back then, we probably did a little more than we do now.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, the web people in the UK have been enjoying the Web of Fear out now in the UK. We are content to watching a couple of clips that the BBC have deigned to put on the YouTube channel about how they made it. It's like motion capture kind of stuff. The animated version of episode 3. Still says July 31st, 2025 here in Canada for the Web of Fear. So
I was waiting for them to change it to July 32nd. Just to make it even less attainable.
Just as likely. But hey, we're less than a month away from the season 24 box set in North America. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Right?
Some nice up-res Dragonfire for you there, Warren.
Oh.
Is it, though?
Well,
I'll do exactly what I've done with worthier box sets, not get it.
25 hours of raw studio and location footage. I'm clearing my schedule of work
I'm sure you
for
are.
That week, just so I can enjoy it. This episode, by the way, thanks for all your nice comments for our 15th anniversary last week. Because it was our 15th anniversary, and now it's not. But this week, or this episode, we have episode 2 of our State of Decay Classic Series commentary. If you're a Patreon supporter this coming week, you get all of Remembrance of the Daleks coming out on our Patreon feed.
No spoilers about what comes next for commentary.
I know.
There's another one in between those.
There is another one. I know, but I've already mentioned it, but now you've already forgotten it. You've already forgotten what it is.
Edge of Destruction.
I've totally forgotten what it is.
Oh, well, I know. I was just teasing now, but yes. So that's what's coming. So, but that'll come out in the main feed. I'm anticipating once Series 13 is done airing. When will that be? I wonder. Well, it'll be the fall. The AMC networks put out a big press release of stuff that's coming in the fall, a whole bunch of different programs. The only one that we're concerned with here is, of course, Doctor Who, which will be on BBC America and AMC Plus. They have a synopsis of it and everything, a full synopsis, which actually doesn't tell you that much.
It's pretty vague.
It's very vague, but it's a thing that exists. It's a press release, So That's always exciting. The alternate reality game that we mentioned on this podcast before, DoctorWho.tv /mystery is where you can find apparently clues. I know you don't understand this, and I'm here to tell you that I don't understand it either. But people are finding clues.
It's a scavenger hunt, basically.
I know, but I don't know how they're finding clues. Tor.com has a big rundown of all the clues and where they've appeared. There's apparently a clue, a piece of artwork in the Walker Museum in Liverpool, for instance. So if you happen to be in Liverpool and at this museum, hey, wait a second, that's a TARDIS in that photo or something. And then there's another one somewhere in some museum in Sheffield or something. People are finding all these little clues to work out what the password is to type in the field on DoctorWho.tv /mystery, and I don't know how they're doing it. So I'm just standing back and saying, solve it for me, and I will just...
Laziness comes through yet again.
Yeah, I don't know how people do it. So I'm impressed. I'm impressed with all you people finding all these clues on the internet because I can't.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm just too lazy.
Yeah, me too.
I am. I'm not lazy, but I'm. I do feel like I am. Like, wait, what? Where'd you get that one? But apparently,
I'm both lazy and not clever.
I suppose,
and
but
also a smidgen of indifference as well. Because I mean, at the end of the day, somebody's going to figure it out. The rest of us are going to be able to take part in the marketing promotional thing that will result from this all.
That's the thing. I mean, it's intended to be a puzzle to be solved. It's not like, me signing up for an account on crates.com so I can see if there's any other 3 tons of film cans coming from Africa.
That might have been your greatest and your worst moment.
To 1P Morris in Liverpool. Because I imagine a lot of people did that, but that's the fun. That's the fun bit. That's the Indiana Jones bit, to coin a phrase. But this is specifically tailored for someone to actually find clues, and I have no idea what the clues are. Not a clue. So well done, sleuths of the internet. Good job.
You Encyclopedias Brown.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, there are links in the show notes if you want to have a look at all the clues that people have found for this password and what apparently the next big thing is happening September 2nd. I don't know what day of the week that is, but according to the clues, something will happen.
It'll be a Thursday, I think.
A Thursday, eh? Well, that'll be just in time to record. So watch the news on the RFS episode coming out September 5th.
Yeah, because it'll be just before Labor Day, so yeah.
Yeah, Labor Day. Also, there's a not that we mentioned Doctor Who loot crates, but apparently a Doctor Who loot crate is coming in October. From BBC Studios. There's a licensing website that we found for this news. I haven't seen it anywhere else. It includes a exclusive, loot crate, it's just a bunch of Doctor Who themed stuff. It includes a USB TARDIS logo projector and an exclusive 13th Doctor t-shirt featuring all the past Doctors. But the notable thing here is that it's October. Would they be releasing this to time with the release of the new series, perhaps, in October? It does say fall. September, the last part of September technically is in the fall, but maybe we're looking at an October premiere date for this. Who knows? Who, as they say, knows?
But now we get Warren's hackles up.
Oh, there'll be some.
Yeah, this is funny. Well, it was intended as when I saw it, it was intended as fun because Liz Miles herself tweeted this, thinking, "I have now made it." But it seems like this happened so early on in the week that it feels like old news. But that hasn't allowed Warren to rest one second. Screener Rant put
beyond livid.
Screener Rant put together an article that said 10 writers who could succeed Chris Chibnall as showrunner, and then they also took the time to rank them as well. And they basically just went through the ranks of people who have written Big Finish and maybe people who they've liked to have written Doctor Who in the past and listed them off. No offense to some of our friends, Una McCormack and Sarah Dollar and Liz Biles, who is preferred ahead of someone who's actually had showrunning experience in Phil Ford, to be the next showrunner on Doctor Who. It eventually ends up on Vinay Patel's lap. He's number 1 in the list. Spoilers, by the way. As the potential replacement, this article says, for Chris Chibnall in Doctor Who.
Key on potential there.
Yeah.
This is a multifaceted annoyance
Right.
because, I mean, other than Phil Ford and Vinay Patel, I can't remember who else was on there who had written
Patrick
the show.
Ness.
Patrick Ness, yeah, who kind of did showrun Class, so I mean, more or less. So yeah, there's a smidgen of possibility here, but I mean, this at base, all this is somebody, and I'm not going to single the person who wrote this out because it's not their fault. I mean, at the end of the day, they wrote it, but this is a show of how the internet economy works. Put out absolutely any old nonsense you can find so that people look at it, no matter how close to the truth or how very far from the truth it is. But what Liz would have told you, or Una McCormick, or probably Vinay Patel for that matter, is that there is a big difference between writing a book or a big finish and writing for a TV show. It's just they're just different disciplines. And on top of that, writing for a TV show and then running a TV show. Like, you're basically the CEO of a company at that point. And a good 3/4 of what you're doing has nothing to do with writing. So yes, you are going to pick a writer because they're going to do that as well. But they also have to be a good manager and a bunch of other stuff. And there's just a lot more to it than just picking names literally out of the air and saying, this could be the showrunner. And the people from Screen Rant know this. They have to know this. So it's just disingenuous nonsense. And as a journalist, it annoys the living hell out of me. And I know I'm being played. That's the other part.
Right. And one way to drum up some attention for it, too, is to name actual writers so that they can, say, oh, look at this. I mentioned in this for some reason. Like, even by mocking it
exactly.
is a way of getting
Liz
it out
showed
there.
it the proper contempt.
Yeah. Apparently I've made it. Yeah. So that was an amusement that came out early last week. But the latest issue of Doctor Who magazine, Emily Cook's on vacation, by the way. We usually have a segment talking about the newest issue, but she's away this week. So, but it leads off with Chris Chibnall's production notes about why he's leaving Doctor Who. And, there's some, he says, okay, Jodie and I had this talk, as, we'd do 3 and out, and then we'd be done with this. But then he sort of goes into, like, the interesting intricacies of producing Doctor Who. Like, the replacement isn't up to him. I honestly don't know if RTD had the power to say, I choose my replacement when he chose Stephen Moffat. I don't think Moffat...
The decision wouldn't be Chibnall's, but
No.
There's no way they wouldn't seek his input.
Oh, yeah, they wouldn't seek his input. But, he sort of goes on to say, who's replacing me? He says, that's not my decision, And the big change that happened, I'm quoting him now, the big change that happened during our tenure has been Doctor Who being produced through BBC Studios rather than BBC's in-house drama department. So it's basically like, a BBC Studios and the BBC getting together. Who should we get to run this thing now? It's not like you get to choose your successor, sort of like, you have to find your replacement when you go on vacation kind of thing.
And I mean, he talks about things that we've talked about before. Like, again, just to quote, that shift to BBC Studios is one tiny example of how the TV landscape is unrecognizable compared to when I accepted the job 5 years ago. Simply, the whole of television has been revolutionized and transformed. There was no Disney Plus, no Apple TV, and Amazon Prime Video was just getting going. How we watch, where we watch, when we watch, what's being made, how it's being made is all utterly different, utterly disrupted.
Yeah.
The challenge we were set by the BBC was to keep up with Netflix.
And then he goes on to say there, as Chris and I are both reading it, there's been a 35% upward inflation of the cost of making drama while they've been on the show since 2018. They're competing for talent and crew in a genre of shows that have up to $10 million more budget per episode, not per series, per episode. These are all the things that they're having to deal with.
I know it's just voice bits, and they could be recorded who knows when, and probably ages ago and whatnot. But watching the second episode of What If, just looking at the cast list for the episode, even if they have like 2 lines, you've got all the people that do the original voices. Chadwick Boseman, who knows when he was recorded, because he passed a while ago, of course, but like Karen Gillan and Josh Brolin and Benicio del Toro and Michael Rooker and like everybody who did.
To the point where if it isn't the original voice actor, that's the one person you notice. You're like, oh, wait a minute, because everything else sort of fits. And it's an excellent episode, by the way, if you were interested in things.
The point being, no matter how much or how little each of these people had to contribute, they're still getting paid. And it's not going to be a cheap thing to have 15, 20 people who were, were in the Avengers and MCU films.
Mm-hmm. Well, not to mention, that's the first time the MCU part of this thing, which I'm assuming is separate from all the other farmed out stuff that Marvel does, that's the first time they're in animation. So that in and of itself is you got to build up a whole bunch of infrastructure for.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Erica was started watching this Shadow and Bone series on Netflix. It came out, I don't know, a couple months ago now, I think. But, I feel like I didn't know much about it at the time. I know people, like all Netflix shows, people were talking about it the day it came out and then never again because it all comes out in one fell swoop. But I was sort of expecting this sort of like, young adult sort of thing, fantasy, whatever. I'm not too sure what. And then it's on.
Full on hardcore nudity.
It looks spectacular. Like like I'm thinking like it looks Game of Thrones good, and now it's a thing for Netflix. Like this is how much how much money's being thrown at TV these days by places like Netflix and Disney Plus. And I find that I think Doctor Who, when it came back in 2005, it looked better. But there was also no other real science fiction to compare it with at the time. And now, as we've talked about a lot on this show in the recent past, there's everything that's competing with it. Budget wise, trying to lure talent and everything else wise. I mean, all these things are now factors in trying to make Doctor Who.
There's an interesting, it's on New York Times. Kara Swisher has a podcast called Sway, and she interviews Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who has a new show on Apple TV Plus, and he talks about how Silicon Valley has basically taken over Hollywood, and he's not wrong. But part of that is, there's two parts to this. One is the BBC is not that, and it's never going to be that, and woe betide anybody who tries to make it that. But B, you've got insane amounts of money, way more than Hollywood has ever had access to, along with a bubble mentality. Like, it's just a different way of thinking. Like, just produce, and hope that you get a buyout or something. Like, it's not quite that because these are already giant companies. But some of that's going to leak into Hollywood, and is that good or bad? I'm not sure, but that's what's happening. So that's why you're seeing ludicrous amounts of money, and it's kind of a bubble. Some of this is going to have to collapse at some point.
Oh yeah. Like that Jupiter show on Netflix costing a quarter.
Yeah, but not even just shows. Like, there's going to be streaming services that die. It's going to have to happen.
I know, this all goes back to me thinking that Doctor
and not just Quibi.
Not just Quibi, but
I mean, that was just a dumb idea. Yeah. Like, even legitimately decent ideas that just don't make it.
Yeah, it is.
Snapchat versus Instagram, is one better than the other? Not really. Well, Instagram's the one though.
Yep.
Why? Just cause.
So anyway, these are all factors that go into making Doctor Who and choosing the successor of Doctor Who. So no offense to the 10 wonderful writers written into that Screen Rant article, but it takes a lot to sort of manage all this. The global, you are the head of the flagship essentially. So. It's intriguing. I honestly don't think that a successor has been chosen yet. I thought perhaps they would have one already lined up, but I think a lot of thought is going into who's going to run this, and I'm very intrigued to see. And it's honestly, it's not just one person. It's not like Chibnall making every single decision. He's the head writer, but there's your Matt Strevens, who's also leaving, of course, at the end of this series. Who's also a big part of it. Moffat had various line of producers as well. To help him, it's like he's the head writer, but there are 2 or 3 other people. Even the RTD years, he had Phil Collins.
Some of those producers kind of got elevated, like Piers Wenger, who's head of drama or whatever his position is.
Yeah, he's head of drama BBC One now. Yeah, or
no longer load bearing. Actually, he's bearing all of it.
He's more of a load bearing Wenger now.
Yep, there's a throwback.
But the thing here says they've shot the 8. It implies, anyway, that they haven't yet shot the 2022 BBC Centenary special. So,
yep.
I mean, until that gets shot, and the transition, the line of succession has to really be worried about. I don't know that they need to rush into finding whoever as a replacement.
No, I get. Well, I mean, at some point they're going to have to start shooting the next season of Doctor Who.
Well, not even shooting after pre-production.
Pre-production, everything has to have. They have to cast. They do have to, how much is going to change? Are they going to do a production designer? Are they going to be?
Yeah, they'll definitely be, because there'll be a new TARDIS set.
Probably a new
very
TARDIS set,
probably.
because that seems to.
And happily, Chibnall's thing does mention Sega Nakanola is back. But nothing to say if he's going to carry on with the next showrunner like Murray Gold did.
Yeah,
hope he does.
Me too. Anyway, a lot of change happening over the next couple of years. But stay tuned to Radio Free Skaro for your first. Not really. I don't know, but we'll talk about it.
We'll armchair quarterback the hell out of it, no matter what it is.
Absolutely, we will.
As we have, and will continue to do.
Yep. Let's take a brief look. It's getting the dog days of summer are close to being over, but
thanks, Florence.
In regards to the time lash, as we look back through this week in Doctor Who history, because we're getting premiere dates for new series of Doctor Who. One forgets that they started in August back in those days. Not just the Dominators and the Reign of Terror. The Dominators Part 3 aired on August 24th, 1968. Although you would have had to have counted on your fingers to know that it was Part 3, because they forgot to put the caption in on Part 3 of the Dominators, which is amusing. But deep breath, the Peter Capaldi era officially began April 23rd, 2014, with a feature-length episode of Deep Breath, which I quite liked.
I still distinctly remember sitting at Warren's place, watching it with him.
Oh yeah.
I was in Vancouver at the time.
At that point, it was not working.
Something like that. And then, of course, we had to deal with Tumble or whatever it was that led into it. Tumblers don't scare the hair or whatever nonsense it was at the time.
Oh wow!
Oh my god! Did you just say tumblers don't scare the hair? Can you imagine?
Oh my god!
Nightmare scenario of Tumbler and Don't Scare the Hair combined into. Actually, it's probably on there somewhere. I should not tempt fate like this.
Could be. Anyway, it was exciting. I remember that. I remember those days. That was only like a year after, like, he was announced on October 4th, 2013, and like a year later, there he is, his first episode premiering.
It's funny how it works when they point the camera at him and he acts.
It's crazy. They had it ready.
Sounds a little suspect to me, honestly.
A little bit. I actually don't know when they started filming PCAP's time on Doctor Who. Probably not long after the announcement, I'm thinking, because they'd finished Day of the Doctor sometime in May or something, and the Capaldi thing was an insert, obviously. Shot not long after the announcement. Him looking up No Surreal 13. 2011, 10 years ago, kids. Let's Kill Hitler kicked off Series 6B in 2011 with a Corvette in a cornfield, which was shot, I remember Richard Senior, the director, saying that they shot that very close to, because corn takes all summer to grow, and they needed a full cornfield for that shot. So I think that shot was filmed in August. It was very close to the premiere day, actually.
Yeah, something like that.
Mm-hmm. With Mel's and all that, and Hitler putting him in the closet and shooting him and stuff, and all that wacky Series 6.
I did not expect it to be that wacky. I don't know why, with the title like Let's Kill Hitler, I didn't think it was going to be wacky, but I just did not expect that level of wackiness.
No. Of course, it was amusing that, it was, somebody pointed out at the time, it was basically the anti-Godwin theory, and that, everyone talks about Hitler, and then once he shows up, they just put them in the closet, and he's forgotten about for the rest of the episode.
That was great.
It's pretty great, actually. Yeah. So that's what happened. But next week in the Time Lash, there's some stuff to go through as the anniversaries of premiere dates for various seasons of Doctor Who kick off. So we'll have lots to talk about next week.
The summer doldrums are over.
That they be.
For old Doctor Who content to talk about.
Exactly. Speaking of old Doctor Who content, in a way, not really. It's new content featuring old doctors. There's your tagline, Big Finish. A whole bunch of Big Finish stuff coming or is out now. The
new content, old doctors, lacks a ring to it.
Not quite the selling point that you might think. Is it me?
Another load of the same old crap.
I know.
Big Finish. We love tat.
The third volume of the Ninth Doctor series adventures coming out in November of 2021 is called Lost Warriors, which features some kick-ass looking Cybermen, some old...
I was going to say, this Cyberman looks awesome. It's like, he looks kind of like a Mondasian Cyberman and a couple other bits and pieces all mushed together into these. He looks like a bad MFer is what he looks like.
You know
really
what the best
does.
part of it is?
Yeah.
It's a cool drawing that they never actually have to realize practically because it's audio.
It's audio.
Exactly.
It's audio.
So they just have to do audio for it, and that's good enough.
Yeah, but what's the sound going to be like? You know, that's the thing. Like, it's sort of almost like, is he made out of like whatever, like steampunk, but not really, you know? Very cool design. Very cool design. Anyway, that comes out in November with a series of 3 stories. And that, the third Doctor Adventures Volume 8 comes out in October.
Draconians.
Yes, Draconians. Marina Sirtis, Counselor Deanna Troy herself, is joining Free Management and Adjoa Ado as in the Year of Martha Jones, which comes out in December, which is kind of cool.
Just to jump out, I'm I don't know what to think about all the facial expressions on the artwork here for the Year of Martha Jones, because you got Adjoa Ando and Freeman Adjoan basically striking the same pose. And then Marina Sirtis over there in the corner, like, looking completely disinterested, like, what the hell am I doing here?
Kind of side-eyeing it. Like, really? Doctor Who? We're doing this? Like, Doctor
Disinterested
Who?
painting.
Yeah.
It's like, I had a long time to think about this, and I've decided no.
Like, I was comfortably eating pizza that Commander Riker was making in an outdoor oven last time you saw me, and now I'm with this. It's a hat tip.
So this basically brings together the Star Trek and Doctor Who universes. It's now canon.
Yeah, because that's never happened before.
Never.
Ever.
Nope, not once.
Never.
Not once. Not at all.
Never.
So does that mean because Gwendolyn Christie was in the first season of Wizards vs. Aliens that the Doctor Who and Game of Thrones universes are mixed?
Oh, my
of course.
Yeah, Doctor Who.
Very similar universes. Very similar.
Listen, David Bradley turns up at everything. David Bradley connects the Harry Potter to the Game of Thrones to Doctor Who, and I've been watching the series from 1996 as of late, Our Friends in the North, which is on BritBox, and he's in that. He turns up in that, which of course he's with Christopher Eccleston and Daniel Craig, who's James Bond. So it all mixed up together.
I like how the one rule we have is, well, if an actor's in one thing, then that brings the universe together.
Yes, exactly.
Whereas an actor's role is to play somebody different. No, so it's completely
it doesn't. No,
we've only just decided this crossover canonicity thing. So
exactly.
Yeah. Yes. Also appearing. I mean, I'm only 3 episodes into Our Friends in the North, but Malcolm McDowell's in it. So there's your Clockwork Orange and Oh Lucky Man and Lindsay
Star
Anderson
Trek.
Trilogy and Star Trek
and Star Trek. Yeah. And a lot of really crappy movies in the 90s.
Oh, far too many. And Caligula. So there you go.
Everybody's begging for the Caligula crossover.
It all ties
Well,
back
we got that, and then you bring in Derek Jacobi for the I, Claudius side of things, and then I, Claudius and Caligula are now the same.
Oh, God.
Is Derek Jacobi in? Oh, okay, all right, yes.
He's in I, Claudius. He's not in Caligula, but he's in. And guess who played?
But a lot of people, like Peter O'Toole is, and John Kilby's in Caligula.
Guess who plays Caligula in I, Claudius? It's John Hurt, the War Doctor.
Oh,
so
it's all coming back.
Here it is. Coming soon on Big Finish.
Is I, Claudius on BritBox? And if so...
No, it's not, and it should be. BritBox, get it. Come on. Sarah Jane Adventures is on BritBox in the UK now, as of like last week. Which is intriguing because I want that to arrive on BritBox here
since it came out.
No, Ward, you've been watching Blake 7 on BritBox.
I have.
Yeah, like
I'm up to episode 5. Although I skipped the ending where a bunch of little guys go for like 10 minutes.
That's not a good episode. The web is what you're talking about.
No, it's a bad one.
I mean, it's a good episode up to that point, and then they start screaming for no reason.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking for. I've been busy with work as of late, and I'm gamely trying to finish off Star Trek Next Generation season 7, which I haven't seen in 20 years. Not the best season of Star Trek Next Generation. They know
it's coming to an end.
Yeah.
Like, all right, let's pull this puppy into part.
Yeah,
I remember all good things.
I read somewhere that Ronald Moore was like early on, like 2 or 3 episodes of that. They're going, oh, this is it. Oh, we're done. We're on fumes. We are on fumes.
And they went right into Generations from that, so they must have been just bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like no gap. Yeah.
None. No. Anyway, also out from Big Finish now, because we talk about the stuff when it's released. Out now is the Doctor Who: The Early Adventures After the Daleks with the Caroline Ford. The Early Adventures Secrets of Det Sen, featuring Peter Purvis, and The God of Phantoms by Philip Hinchcliffe. Ooh. Starring one Thomas Stewart Baker in the role of TV's Doctor Who. That is also out now from Big Finish. Next up, believe it or not, there's a new comic series coming, November 2021 from Titan Comics. The 11th and 8th Doctors meet with Rose Tyler.
As like the Empress Bad Wolf or something.
Yes, Empire of the Wolf, issue 1. You can pre-order it now. It's coming out in November 2021.
Except that's a good cover. It's a fine-looking cover.
There's a whole bunch of covers. They have, of course, comics always have different covers. There's one with the crazy alien on it, and the Bad Wolf TARDIS and stuff. And
and I mean, this whole Rose Tyler sitting on what looks like the Game of Thrones throne with the doctors, restrained and tied up. There's some fanfic that probably has covered that already.
I knew you'd go there, and there you. Oh no, you did disappoint me, but didn't surprise me.
Yeah, no,
never.
It's been Warren. Chris isn't the only one to point that out. I assure you.
Well, all right. I'm shocked to hear that.
I assure you.
No, especially with the skin tight leather outfit she's got on there.
All right, that's enough.
Yeah, it's quite enough of that.
Back, please.
Is she really? Let's have a look at this cover here.
All right, that's enough from you, Steven. I expect a little better from you. Not much, but a little.
She's got like some armor on or something. I'm intrigued at what the backstory is here.
Curious what she's going to do with those sonic screwdrivers in her hand.
Stop it! Stop it! Titan Comics.
Let's move on to the next.
Empire of the Wolf coming out November of 2021. Pre-order now, as I said. Other things that are coming down the pipe here. A new, updated, and expanded version of Barry Letts's autobiography, not written from him, of course. He passed away in 2009. Michael Seeley, who was... he's written at least the Kit Pedler book. I think maybe one or two others as well. He and Steve Hatcher, of course, of Hooverville, which is coming up next month, which is sold out. Various number of guests, including Paul Cornell, going up there. So I hope you all have a grand time at Hooverville. This is like the first Doctor Who convention that's happened since forever, it seems. So I'm intrigued to see how that goes. But best of luck to all the people going there, and have a great time and stay safe and all that. But they've contributed to a new expanded edition of Who and Me, which you could pre-order for the end of August 2021. So that's coming up right around the corner. I don't know where I found the audio version of it, but I have the audio version of this book. Obviously, there won't be an addition to that, but
well, it's not read by Barry Letts like the original.
That's true. Yeah. Maybe they get Jacob Dudman to impersonate Barry Letts and read it as well. Does a lot of other voices.
That's a very in-demand impersonation, I'm sure.
Why not? Yeah. So that's coming out. Links to the show notes. That's from Phantom Publishing, is putting out the new expanded version of that. Vorp, issue 4, TV comic. What is Vorp? Chris, what is Vorp? Can you tell me?
Comics. It's all about the Doctor Who comics.
Like the classic
172 pages of stuff from blah blah blah, countdown, TV action strips, like a bunch of old Doctor Who comics just collated together.
That's awesome.
But it varies, right? Different Vorps cover different.
I assume so. I've never read one of the issues, but I assume so.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's out now. You can read it now if you wanted to. Links in the show notes to get your own copy. I dumped it on there because I accidentally closed the link. So, Chris,
I'm looking at the link, and it has a thing about Patrick Troughton themed cereal that is actually apparently for real.
I would have thought that'd be an Andrew Mark Thompson thing.
The line, whenever I see anything to do with anything like that, like the Sugar Pats, Warped Sugar Pat cereal, I'm thinking, is Andrew Mark Thompson has something to do with this?
The best part is Caterpillar Man. just a random monster that never existed.
Or John and Jillian Who, the kids that you never knew existed.
Yeah, that's great.
And a robot called Trod.
It's funny. It's funny stuff. Anyway,
good time.
Links to the show notes to get your own. And last of the news list, Hero Collector has some new figures coming out. Doctors 9 through 13 are out there now. Are they out there, or they're coming anyway? I don't know when they're coming. This just got announced like just before we started recording. But there's also a Tom Baker one with his famous pose from the photo shoot from City of Death. There's also a Sixth Doctor and Perry figurines from the Two Doctors.
Mm-hmm.
So, there are various outfits from Seville, Spain. There's a Dalek from
Revolution.
Revolution of the Daleks, thank you. And then the real collector's item here is the impaled Cyberman from the Five Doctors.
Hear him going.
He's going to like spit out some milk or something shortly after that shot or something. Yeah, he's got a big spike through his chest and out the back. Just been impaled by the Raston Warrior robot.
Freeze, Sarah Jane. Freeze or we're dead.
Yeah. That's cool. That is cool. I love that that Hero Collector exists in so far that we can have a Cyberman with a spear through his chest as a character. Pretty awesome.
I hope they painted a little dribble of milk coming out of him.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Anyway, that's pretty. Also, I just on my Twitter feed, Steve Hatcher just retweeted this through here. This is probably old news by this point, but I didn't know that Matthew Robertson, director of Attack of the Cybermen and Resurrection of the Daleks, is going to be at Hooverfield. So that's pretty cool. So
neat.
Yeah, awesome. All right. I think that's it. I think that's it for our news, folks. After the break, hey, it's time for our classic series commentary: Doctor Who: State of Decay, Part 2.
All round the condenser, most merciful. We're looking forward to excellent duodecaphonic sound.
This is the moment when I get a real feeling of job satisfaction.
Welcome back. It's part 2 of our classic series commentary for State of Decay from season 18, of course, 1980 in Doctor Who. Hope you've got your legally purchased Blu-rays all ready to go. Here it is, folks. State of Decay, Part 2 in 3, 2, 1, play. So we left off the cliffhanger on the last episode.
Yeah, sure. But it's really waiting with favorite
Just
stuff.
waiting. Why Andrew Hayden Smith from Rise of the Cybermen, Age of Steel.
Stephen's reference was to Mrs. Moore, was how Andrew Hayden Smith pronounced Mrs. Moore's name in the Series 2 Cyberman two-parter.
Yep.
I see.
And then the slur status of his name in this household. A few years back at Galley, he was a guest, and Kat interviewed him. I think it was in program B, so a reasonably sizable room. I can't remember how many people turned out, but he was just apparently like the least forthcoming person ever with anecdotes.
Yep.
He was at the time, I think, getting ready for some charity event, marathon or some such, and like she tried to get him to talk about like anything, and he would utter like 2-word responses at best.
Weird.
And it was just like pulling teeth.
And he was on like Blue Peter or something, wasn't he, before that? Or
maybe he's just a guy who switches on for the TV and then switches right back off.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean I think she's legit in her resentment, frankly.
Yeah.
And apparently it's a well-established thing. 'Cause, I don't know if it was Galley or a different con, but Graham Burke, our friend Graham Burke, had interviewed him sometime previously and had the same experience.
Yeah.
And as somebody who interviews people fairly regularly, that is painful. Doesn't happen very often.
Well, the whole point of such a thing is for them to promote themselves at the end of the day.
Exactly.
And,
Yeah. Like you're here,
Or at least
you
give
can't
their point of
just
view on something.
show up and
It's
collect
not-
that paycheck.
yeah, it's not Paul Rudd showing Mac and me every time he's in front of people.
Which is art, by the way.
That is hard, yeah. Anyway, here we are, part 2. Oh, it's daytime now. Nice, I say nice model shot. I'm still impressed with this glass shot. That's a very impressive glass shot. You don't see many
It is
glass
very
shots
good.
in
Actually, the
Doctor Who.
set is, it's
very
even the
good.
set as is here is pretty
Yeah.
Even just the notion of glass shots is such an antiquated thing that
Is it
Yeah, but done
antiquated?
well.
It's not that antiquated, really, is it? Just because
it's been around forever.
it has.
Yeah, but matte paintings are digital now, too.
Yep.
Like, if you watch any TV show, there's a pile of essentially digital mats.
Yep. It's just the technology that's changed. That's all, That's all that's changed. Who was the designer on this? It was somebody.
You're right, it was somebody.
Yeah, it was somebody. I was hoping Wikipedia
That's some
would tell
ridiculous
me.
walking, really.
I think this is the interesting blocking scene here, where they all sort of walk around each other and stuff. I think it's quite good. It's very operatic in a way that all vampires are, both in fiction and in real life. They're very, very full of themselves.
Yes, in real life, vampires are.
Yeah, they're all drama kids. Let's face it, real life vampires. I mean,
Oh, God.
Venn diagram is just a zero.
I do like how they adapted all the spaceship stuff to their costumes and what have you, which is not as easy as it looks.
No, it's clever. It's a very lush looking story. Doesn't look cheap at all until we get to the rocket.
Looks like they splashed out on the good brie or maybe camembert, whatever.
Oh,
and the puppet. Let's not forget the puppet.
Yeah.
Although the idea of a war between Time Lords and vampires, like my teenage mind was like, yes, this is brilliant. Art, one could say.
Yep. Yeah, well, I mean, you were talking, it was off air, I think, a little bit ago about like,
I don't remember.
Until Deadly Assassin, Time Lords didn't have 13 incarnations, kind of thing. Yeah, like, so Time Lords versus vampires happens 17, 18 years into the show's run.
Yeah.
Who cares? Yeah. Like,
yeah, nobody's complaining about that. Yet, anyway.
Like, and it just blows my mind that, Robert Holmes saying 12 regenerations, or Matt Smith saying 507 regenerations, or the doctor, or the Matt Smith doctor getting a new regeneration cycle, or the master getting offered a new regeneration cycle. Those are all great, but the Timeless Child, don't touch that.
Well, here's the thing. Nerds love rules, which doesn't make any sense to me because rules never do us any good.
No.
But we love them for some reason.
It's not just nerds. I mean, this is a great scene. Just watch the scene. We'll talk over it. I remember when Canada changed the line in the national anthem from All Thy Sons Command to All of Us Command. It's much more inclusive. All Thy Sons was initially put in the song back in World War I to reference the soldiers going off to war. So it in itself isn't even the original. And people were like, oh, you can never change the national anthem. And then I watch a hockey game from the late 1970s, and like half the lyrics are different. It's crazy. Like they sometimes just make them up as they go. Like, we
people
stand
are smoking,
on our.
wearing hats.
I know, and like people who think like that even the national anthem is sacrosanct and never changes. It's changed within my lifetime twice, and nobody made a big stink about it in 1979. Well, Quebec did actually object and did threaten to leave and did have that referendum in 1980 purely because of that line in the national anthem. But apart from
that was it. That was their only qualm.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, like even the Canadian flag is only like 50
65. It's younger than Doctor Who. Our flag is. Yeah.
Yeah, 50 odd years old.
Yeah. Christine Rusko, by the way, designed this. She also designed Pyramids of Mars and The Hand of Fear.
Ooh.
Yeah, Pyramids of Mars, of course, is excellent.
No, yeah. The production designer or the costume designer?
Production designer.
But yeah.
Not the costumes. I don't know who did the costumes on this, but...
Probably June Hudson.
It was it June Hudson? I'm going to find out. I'm looking.
I don't know. We saw the credits at the end of episode 1.
I know, but that's
last week, but it doesn't mean I read them.
It's Amy Roberts, actually. Amy Roberts did.
I mean, when in doubt for Tom Baker's area, you say June Hudson, you were going to be right more than not.
Yeah, you think that June Hudson did them all the time, but I think she was only there for 17 and 18, right? Like, she designed Tom Baker's outfit, obviously, in season 18, but... Ooh. Emerson, he's good. Ocon's good in this. Proper Shakespearean performance here. Mm-hmm. This is something you're not allowed to do on TV anymore, and that is a shame. Look at that. Look at this. Yeah.
I always love when they do this whole thing where they go right up to the camera.
Yeah. I think in real life I should try and like mimic that I'm actually in a multi-camera studio environment. And when I'm talking to someone, I'll actually walk up facing the wall, just standing right next to the wall and talk to them that way as if to make
That's better than doing Count Floyd style 3D, I suppose.
Is it though?
As if there's a camera there, as if there's a fourth wall and I'm walking right up to the camera because Douglas Camfield in the gallery has told me to do that, so I'm going to do that. I think this person behind me can't hear me. He's like 10 feet away.
Stephen Love, could you walk up to the camera?
I think, yes, I will. I will do that. I'm going to walk right up to this wall.
Positions.
I think we should do that. I mean, I always like sitting at tables and stuff, like just around one side, just so the cameras can catch everything.
The presence of the fourth wall is forever.
Yeah, Funny. One of my only memories of Growing Pains, a sitcom from the 1980s, is I think Tracy Gold was like out of commission or something for an episode, or maybe she was there, but they sat around this dinner table, and that was like in the time when Leo DiCaprio was on
Cousin Luke.
Oh,
Cousin
yes,
Luke.
I'd forgotten that.
And so he crowded up the table, and so Tracy Gold had to sit on the other side, and they had to do like cutaway shots after the fact for Tracy Gold, and it looked like she was in a different universe because she's just cutting away, just smiling and stuff. It's like this reminds me of when like Suzanne Summers was like literally phoning in her performance during her last contractually obligated season of Three's Company.
Yeah.
I was not expecting to reference Growing Pains today. I just want to save that
or
for the
Three's
record.
Company.
No,
Just to add to that, I still remember Matthew Perry on Growing Pains, and he had a 3-episode arc.
man, really?
That was it, and I still remember it like clear as day. Him in the hospital after the accident and all that kind of stuff.
Jeez, what I remember? I remember this. I remember watching this the first time.
I remember not showing, but like running a Blossom on Family Channel way back when. And it was when Ben Affleck was becoming kind of a big deal. Like, so there's the late 90s.
Right.
And this Blossom was from like 1990. And there's a very young Ben Affleck as like a football guy. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So for all of his, I'm out of nowhere. No, he put his time in the trenches just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm. They all do. Well, maybe not
and
all.
the guy won an Academy Award justifiably for Good Will Hunting. I'm not criticizing his acting ability or his writing ability. I'm
He
just
didn't
saying
win. He didn't.
He had to put his.
He didn't win.
Well,
it
William
for-
Goldman had a bit to do with that. Yes. But
Yeah. Oh wait, no, did
as
he?
did Matt Damon.
Oh, was it script? It was screenplay, wasn't it?
Screenplay. It was him and Matt
okay.
Damon that wrote it, but
Right.
William Goldman did help him out. And,
I forgot about that.
William Goldman is no slouch in the script department. Now,
That's
having said
true.
that,
And Kevin Smith
The
paid for
guys-
the movie.
Yeah.
clearly got talent. Like, I mean, so like, I'm just saying that everybody who has talent has to go work at the acting version of McDonald's sooner or later to get their start.
I just checked my own personal spreadsheet of Doctor Who air dates on KSPS, and I realized that October 10th, 1987 is when I first saw the story.
Okay, so we would have been 12.
You saw it then too in 87? This is your first time through?
Absolutely, I would have seen
Okay.
that.
Well, I mean, you
yeah,
might
I
have seen
must
it
have too.
before because it aired sometime before.
I don't know, maybe I saw it
Then I probably
prior to
did
that.
then,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have missed Tom Baker past Robot, so and that was 83.
I don't necessarily have strong recollections of. So once WTVS from Detroit became available, and
yes.
Right.
we had
This is your
that.
favorite bit, by the way, Chris, happening right now.
Oh yeah,
yes, it
Consonantal
is.
Shift. Yeah.
Consonantal Shift. But anyway, once other places than KSPS got Doctor Who, it's kind of a blur as to where I saw what when. So YTV or Space or
Yeah.
WTVS, KSPS.
I like Romana's stockings in this too. Stockings, socks. What do you call it? It's up to their knee.
Leggings. I think those are leggings, but
I
I am by no means an expert.
I wouldn't call them leggings because leggings go all the way up, and she's wearing like some sort of riding pants in addition to like plus fours kind of thing, like Tintin.
It is quite the. You could get away with this in polite company, but it's very Time Lordy too.
Mm-hmm. Lala Ward had some great outfits in season 18.
Oh yeah,
But
Super-
did she
She
have
had
Jodie
some
Whittaker's birthday
questionable-
outfits? I don't think so.
some questionable ones as well.
Yeah.
But more
State
than
of Decay
17.
first premiered on KSPS episodically, like week to week, in early '83. Not early '83, but in December actually of '83.
Well, then I probably would have seen it. Yeah.
You might have seen
Possible
it
that's when
then.
I saw it.
And then I'm looking here. I did a lot of work on this.
In KSPS, I witnessed it.
Yeah, I know. And then they didn't air it again until it looks like they started it like over again. What a weird airing run. I think they started again in 84, and then they might have skipped it in 85, and so on and so forth. I know I saw it in 87, though. That's when my glory period began with my Doctor Who fascination. 12 years old, going on 13.
I was about 8 or 9 when I started watching on KSPS. So the 83 broadcast could have been it,
First one, wow.
but more likely the 87, I'd say.
Yeah. Back when we could comprehend what's going on, you know.
Now in our advanced years, we can't.
Yeah. William Lindsay there playing Jargo. He died like
He died?
86. He's only 35 years old. I don't know what the problem. I don't know what he died of, but I know that he died very young. which is a
kinda
shame.
sad.
Yeah, it is. It might have been drugs.
He's 41 when he died.
41.
Wikipedia does not say why.
There was also, what's his name? Seth.
40.
Seth from Horns of Nymon certainly died of drugs.
Okay.
In the 80s as well.
Tika did not, because she went on to host.
How many
Blue Peter.
Nymons died of drugs, though? That's my
3. I don't know how many died. But.
How many Nymons did you see die of drugs today?
Yeah. Akon's dead, though. Emrys James died a while ago. And Lindsay, I think the woman who played Camilla is still with us.
Let's look at, damn, I mean, let's look it off into space.
Yeah.
As
Well,
Adric,
he's hypnotized by...
Yeah. No. Akon is staring off into space as Adric comes closer. It just looks very, very austere.
It's so stage acting. Part of me should be like appalled by it. Like every time I watch a movie from like the 1930s onwards until maybe the 1960s, it's like they just look like they're on a stage. But you throw them in front of a multicam studio tape, and I'm thinking, yep, I'm with it. I don't know what it is.
I was watching a documentary about Alfred Hitchcock's output and the man himself, and they showed the scene where Cary Grant and somebody are walking across, and it's clearly a painted backdrop. There's not even any effort to show otherwise.
Right.
And I'm like, this guy's a master of the cinema, but that is kind of fake looking.
Well, now you see why I bounced off Star Trek back in the day, thinking, oh, they're on the red cyclorama
but it's
planet tonight,
that's,
are they?
that's TV, though. I can accept that. On TV.
Not everything can be rope.
But also, a ton of Hitchcock stuff I haven't seen is on Crave until June 30th. So I have 5 days to power through this stuff.
As we record this, hello, people in the future. Hope you're enjoying the fourth wave of COVID.
Long since gone by the time that...
You won't have watched it. Warren.
No, I probably won't have.
No, it'll show.
I might try to see Rope and Vertigo, because those are two people keep going on about.
Oh, yeah,
Rope my God, Rope is just amazing.
Yeah, I'm
Vertigo.
Is Rope is the one with like just 3 or 4 cuts, right?
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
Kalmar.
It's basically just a few master shots taped together. It's just beautiful.
Well, I mean, that's trivializing how much work went into that.
Oh yeah, I know. But Vertigo. I'm not a fan of Vertigo. It's just like I'm not a fan of North by Northwest. And
North by Northwest is great.
Those often get a lot of praise.
Because they're funnier than
I only saw North by Northwest for the first time like less than a year ago, like during the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
I love it.
Yeah.
Just Cary Grant is just so funny and charming in that. It's just excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Thane Bettany's dead too, by the way. He died in 2015, just so you know. 86 he was. So if he died in 2015, he was 86. 35
so Paul's
years.
What, in his 40s probably?
Yeah, what's 86 minus 35?
51.
Chris? 51. He's 51 in this? That is nonsense. Can't believe that.
That is a Drama Kid beard if ever there was one.
Oh my God. Oh, I've probably
Looks like
seen
an
that.
octopus. Are there 8 things? 1, 2, 3,
How
4,
come?
8,
I suppose I shouldn't ask about like why hasn't anyone dressed up as the 3 who rule at Gallifrey 1, because people
Please don't make us.
will just inevitably ask us to do it.
Well, I think we decided years ago Warren would be Camilla.
No, I think maybe.
No, David Huey decided that.
That's-
Huey's did a
Did David
cartoon,
decide
and that's
that?
how I became Camilla.
Oh,
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember that now. I mean, as of recording, I've got the hair to be all 3 of them. Let's face it.
Well, on top of the head, not the facial hair.
Not the God.
Camilla
never
looks
the
like she
facial
listens to a lot of Bauhaus.
She's probably on that same. She's probably in the studio with David Bowie during his Berlin trilogy, just sort of like, you know, all the cocaine that Bowie is not on right now. Pass it over.
She's on.
I'll take your secondhand cocaine.
Pass it over.
Does she also happen to have a cigarette on the end of a long cigarette filter?
Oh, that was classy. That was back in, you waited. You took your.
That was more of an early 70s, late 60s thing.
You took your time ingesting that lung cancer. That was like.
I was going to say. Took your time with a terrible habit that sucks. Slightly more elegantly than the common rabble. You're putting a cigarette in your mouth on its own? That's a very oblique reference. Oh, Chris, you go ahead now, and I'll go off in this.
I was going to say, I love the way that Dix lets the story unravel, just the breadcrumbs.
Oh, I know.
So like just the heartbeat there, and the Hydrax earlier, and the panel at the.
Yeah, it's building tension so well.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite. This is one of my favorite scenes ever in Doctor Who. I think it's in episode 4. We'll get to it, but Here we are in
So
Ealing.
my idiotic tangent is that
the
two of the guys who were in Reno 911 are very wealthy screenwriters because they write a lot of blockbusters, and they've got a book that's very funny and basically says, here's how Hollywood actually works, and they actually explain how it really worked. And they're like, yeah, we love independent movies. They don't make any money. This makes us money and pays for it. Anyway, so they talk about how they wrote Herbie Fully Loaded, and the executive they were dealing with couldn't understand what a barbecue was. They're trying to explain there's a barbecue scene, and she's like, anything outside?
Yeah.
In the dirt? Why would you do that? This is the voice that they did on an interview. So I'm not,
all right.
if I am offending people, it's secondhand through them.
Okay.
But I guess that's what the executive sounded like. She just couldn't fathom that people would have like an outdoor barbecue. What? Because I don't know.
It's a very jerky boys intonation.
Like
they swear it's absolutely true.
How much does a banana cost? $10, that sort of thing. Yeah.
The book itself is called "Making Movies for Fun and Profit," and "For Fun" is canceled out, and it is quite funny. So even if you don't care about writing movies, I don't really tell you much about writing, just about the business side of it.
Right.
It is extremely entertaining.
That like Heffernan? No.
Blood. Ugh. This was
Rorschach.
Gruesome.
Tom Lennon's one of them. Okay, like I knew Tom Lennon.
Yeah, Tom Lennon and the other guy.
I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
And Robert Ben Garant.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you. I couldn't get their names right, as per usual.
Just want to shout out that Tom.
That would be why Tom Lennon's happy just doing bit pieces here and there, and has been since.
Because he's very rich.
Yeah, well, because
he wrote Night at the Museum, and he became extremely wealthy because of it.
Wow.
I first heard about him, or saw him in Viva Variete ages ago. That's like pre Reno 911. But he's great in Reno 911.
The Reno 911 movie is very, very, very funny.
I've only watched the TV, or only some of the TV series. I haven't watched the...
We're watching some very moody exploration of a rocket basement here, by the way.
Yes.
So, of course, we're talking about Reno 911.
Yeah, why wouldn't we?
Lala Ward was just under the sluice pipe for the slime from do that on television.
Oh, dear God. Where's Moose? Where is Moose? I saw
a lot of blood. A lot of blood. This is a very gruesome episode when you think about it. Like a whole vat of blood.
That is disgusting. That place would smell so bad.
I'm surprised Mary
also,
Whitehouse
blood like separated into its various component bits.
I imagine Mary Whitehouse had her bit to say, but by the same token, there's a difference between blood running through a pipe or in a drum versus on people's faces. Or
that's true.
Coming out of their veins,
like Eric Sayward would want to do 4 years after this, but. I mean, Baker is so good in season 18. He's this kind of like
he's kind of reverse Capaldi's.
Yeah, I was gonna say
he gets darker.
Capaldi-esque, just in his gravitas, which we have barely seen.
Which after years of being a goof is kind of amazing he pulled that off.
It really is. It really is. I don't know. I mean, he didn't enjoy this season, I don't think, as much because, everyone he knew was leaving and there's a new producer and he's telling him what to do and stuff. And like he was running free reign for the last 3 years over poor Graham Williams. But he still brings the goods. Still brings the good, does Tom Baker. Cared about the show.
Even the worst Tom Baker. Was that CSO we got there?
No.
I just saw some fringing, but it's actual lighting.
Yeah. Gave a damn about the show to Tom Baker. That's why it was so hard for him to go, because here's a model shot.
Mm-hmm. And a good one, too.
Yeah, it's not bad.
That is a good one.
Put it on film and it looks pretty good.
That's a good reveal, too.
That was good. Well, Peter Moffat, what the hell happened to you, man? You started out so well.
He peaked.
They just got lazy.
Sgt. Pepper's before anything else.
Yeah. Wow. Ha, ha.
That's some Colin Baker ending is what that is.
I do kind of wish it was just a crash zoom. Michael Ferguson was directing that. That would have been a crash zoom into Ocon's eyes, let me tell you.
Straight Up Decay, Visitation, Modern Undead. Did you miss Modern Undead, or did you say that one?
I said Modern. Yeah, I said Modern.
Okay, and then 5 Doctors, Twin Dilemma, 2 Doctors.
Yeah. Got them all right. Yeah. If there's one thing I know, it's nonsense about Doctor Who directors, apparently. But we talked to him about the miniscope. He's one of the first ones, I want to say, way back when.
That could be, yeah.
Yeah.
What a privilege.
Yeah. Good old Dave Chapman on the video. Tony Harding is a name that sounds familiar, too. I think he designed
Tonya
K9.
Harding's dad.
Tony
See, I
Harding
can play this game
No,
too.
Tony Harding designed K9. That's why I remember seeing the initial drawing of K9.
And then fathered Tonya Harding, who then hobbled K9.
That's true. Well, no cliffhanger ending for us from this on this commentary episode, but we do hope, as the final explosion occurs, we do hope that you join us for the next episode of Radio Free Skaro as we continue our classic series commentary for State of Decay. So until that time, I am Stephen in Edmonton.
Warren Vancouver.
And Chris in Edmonton.
So long for now.
You've been listening to Radio Free Skaro. Find us online at radiofreeskaro.com. Follow us on Twitter and Tumblr at Radio Free Skaro. Subscribe to us on iTunes and donate to the show at patreon.com/Radio Free Skaro. Thank you.